They can't catch me. Hey, hey guys, I'm Tara Time. How are you? Okay, I'm kind of running because I was just heard this story and it's really scary and it's all about time. So, as you can see, I ran into some trees on the way, but you just tell me if you see anyone following me and I'll tell you the story. And it's a great story to tell on Halloween. It's all about time. Are you ready? All right, here it goes. Once upon a time, there was a clock, a baby clock. The baby clock looked like any other clock out there. He had his 12 hand, his 3, his 6, his 9, and all the numbers in between. He looked like a regular old clock. He loved to play outside. He loved biking and going on trips, and his mom had an errand to run. So she called him, "Oh, clock, coming, Mom." And he ran out to the car. He got in the car with his mom, and they traveled to the store because she was going to get him something really yummy. So he put his little seatbelt on, sat in his car seat, and his mom pulled off. "Let's go." And she put her hands on the steering wheel, and off they went. And she was going, and they were going to the music and jamming and jamming. And it was a beautiful day, so the little clock, he rolled down his window.
He rolled down his window?
And when he rolled his window down, he saw his friend John. So he started waving to John. He was waving his little clock hand. "Hey, hi, how you doing?" And then all of a sudden, a big storm cloud came. And lightning started shooting out the storm cloud. And then what happens after lightning? Rain. So it started to rain. And rain and rain and rain and rain. And guess what? He was still waving. And his mom didn't look. And she said, "Oh, the car's going to get wet." And she rolled up that window. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Guess whose hand got caught in the window? The little clock. "Mom, ow! Ow, Mom! My hand, it's stuck! Ow! It's hurting!" "What, honey? I can't hear you. The music's too loud. I'm jamming to Katy Perry." "Oh, yeah? Mom, my hand! My hand! Come on, let's get ready to go." So they got to their destination. Stopped the car. Mama Clock jumped out the car, and when she got to the door, oh my! Guess what she noticed? Her little clock's hand was stuck in the window. So she said, "Oh my gosh." So she opened up the car door and she let little baby clock out. So then they went off to the hospital. She didn't even go back in the car. She ran with him in the hands to the hospital. So they got to the hospital, and Mama Clock waited in the hall to see if Baby Clock was okay. And she was very worried, and she felt very guilty. So the doctor came. And the doctor looked concerned. And he said, Mama Clock was very upset. He goes, I'm sorry to tell you, but Baby Clock has a little problem. His arm is stuck. He got it stuck and it pulled it so far that it might be stuck like that for the rest of his life. Maybe if you take good care of him, he might be able to grow his arm back. But we had to kind of take a part of it off to fix it and put it in a cast, and hopefully it'll grow back okay. So she was crying. She was so upset. My poor Baby Clock. Oh my gosh. He's like, but he's okay. He'll live a good life, but hopefully his arm will grow back, but we don't know. So come back in a little bit and we'll see. Also, I put a special thing on him. So don't be surprised if you see another hand. That hand's going to help him. Okay, kind of like a cane or a crutch? Yes, this will help him. So she went, she got her little Baby Clock, and as soon as they got home, she put Baby Clock to bed. Baby Clock wasn't feeling too well. He was very upset with his cast, and he didn't know if he'd be able to grow his hand again, so he was very bothered. Now, his one hand with the cast was his hand that hurt the most. Do you know what he called that? His ow hand. Okay? So the hour hand was the short one. Okay? And it was short, and you can always see the numbers on his face with his hour hand. Then the doctor put a special thing to help him, and that was called the second hand. It was long, and it just was skinny, and it went round and round and round and round and round. Then he had his regular hand, and that hand was his minute hand, because he used to be able to do things quick as a minute, but now he's a little slower. So this minute hand was a nice, long hand like that. Okay? So Mommy would come in and she said, I'm going to give you a little megaphone. And I'm going to put it right here on your counter. And every time you need me, you just scream in it and it'll work, okay? So, if you get thirsty, I want you to yell, thirsty. Now, Baby Clock, he was still little, so he couldn't say thirsty. He'd always say, 30, 30, 30. So, every time he got 30, he would say 30, 30, and his mommy would bring him a drink, okay? And anytime he didn't feel good or he wanted his mommy, he would say, oh, Clock. So, here he is, and he's laying in his bed, and he's resting. He's watching his little show of Descendants, and his mom got him a lot of movies to watch while he was laying in his bed, and he had his little feet up, and he was trying to rest, and then his stomach started growling. He didn't know what to do, so he looked, and he went, let's see, I think I need something to eat, and he yelled, oh, Clock, but he only could yell it when his hand was like that on a 12. Anytime his hand went like this, it's like his stomach went, oh, I'm hungry. And so he put it up, and every time it got there, he said, oh, Clock, and his mom would come running in. Honey, what can I get you? What can I get you? Oh my gosh, do you want a hamburger? Do you want a hamburger? I got you a hamburger. Here's a hamburger to eat. Okay, and she would bring him food. And then he was eating his hamburger. He was like, this is a good hamburger. Mommy makes some delicious hamburgers. And then he was like, he was choking a little. He was like, now that hamburger was good, but I need something to wash it down with. I think I'm 30, 30, 30. And his mom came running in his room, and she brought him a delicious drink, a milkshake. Oh, made him feel much better, okay? Notice how whenever the big hand was on his 6, he would be 30, 30, 30. Okay? So then, all of a sudden, this big bad wind came into his window. And he got a cold. And his cold took away his voice. So now he couldn't even scream through the megaphone. Now he just had to do signs. So his mom gave him a little bell. And he would press the bell. Ding! And mommy would get something. So she would say, okay. And he would say, Mommy, you have to look at my face and see if you could tell what I want. So she said, oh, okay. So he pressed the bell. Mommy came in the door and she had to look and say, what could he want? So she looked, and you guys are going to help me out. This was here. And see, hopefully my red will work again. Not too good, but we'll put it like that. This was here. So, is he going to say he's 40 or is he going to say, oh, clock? Let's see. Big hands on a 12. He's saying, oh, clock, which means I'm hungry, but he didn't say it. So his mom looked at him and she goes, I think he's, I don't know. Is he hungry? Is he, I can't tell. Oh, so she got him a little notepad to put right next to his bed. And this notepad he thought was pretty cool because it said digital on top. Okay? And his notepad, he would write on there, and he would write exactly what he needed. So let's see. Anytime his hand was up on the air, he drew that his belly was empty. So he would draw an empty belly. That's his belly, and it's empty. Okay? It had 2 dots, and then she would say, oh gosh, well, I know your belly's empty, but I'm going to bring you some cookies. I don't know how many to bring. So he would put his hand with the cast up, and this says 4. So she knew, I'm going to bring him 4 cookies. And so she said, oh, you're trying to say 4 o'clock. Okay? So then it was a little later. It was almost time for dinner. He wasn't very thirsty that day. It was almost time for dinner. And then it said, I think I'm hungry again. Gotta tell Mommy. So then he took his little hand, his little owl hand, and he's like, those cookies were good, but I heard Mommy's making some yummy popcorn pieces. I think I want some popcorn. So he rang the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Mommy came running, and then she said, oh my, what does my baby clock want? And she said, oh, let's see. His big hand's pointing to the clock. So that must mean he's hungry. And the little hand's pointing to the 8. That must mean he wants 8 popcorn pieces. So she wrote 8 o'clock. Okay? Now it was getting later. He was getting tired. Oh, but he heard Dad walk through the door. And then he heard, oh, Daddy must have got soda today. Oh, I could really go for some soda. So quickly, he took his hand and he said, okay, I got to move it so that Daddy can tell. So he took it there. He turned it to this, and Daddy came in the room and he goes, I don't know what he wants. So then Mommy ran into the room with Daddy. Because Daddy's kind of like, I don't know what to give him. And Daddy had a soda in his hand. He's like, I'm just going to drink my soda and think about it. And Baby Clock looked at him and was like, and she goes, look at his hands. This one's saying he's thirsty. Oh, 30. And she made it like that for his digital. And then she looked and said, oh my gosh, it's 8:30. But Baby Clock, your little boo-boo arm has to go closer to the middle of the 9 and the 8. So she fixed his little hand and she said, when you're thirsty, you need to put it in the middle of the 2 numbers. So she made sure he put it in the middle. And she said, now you're all set to go. So as time went on, Baby Clock got better and eventually he could talk again. And then he said, you know what? When I was quiet, I thought of a name that I want you to call me. And they said, what is that? And he said, well, I would like you to call me Anna. And they said, Anna? He said, I am a girl, you know. And they said, oh, we thought you were a boy. And then he said, I do call you a lot, so we're going to say la. And you know what? G. G. They said, well, yeah, because I like the G sound. So you can call me Analog. Whenever you see my face that looks like this, call me Analog. And she said, okay. And this is your digital clock, Analog. And you guys always match. So, that's part of the scary story. But tune in for part 2 of what happens when he gets better. See you next time.